And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going live. Hello and welcome everyone into another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we are live and in person. And tonight I got a great guest who's been on one of our tape shows a while back, but you can't miss her. She's great. We're going to enjoy tonight. My co-host tonight, Diane Martino. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me, Robert. So excited to be here and share some good stuff with your audience.
Oh, absolutely. The house is filling up. We're getting a whole bunch of people in as we speak. And you are from this place, Art. Didn't come through on the thing so much.
It's behind you, yeah.
It's Art and Soul.
Art and Soul.
Yeah, you have a great website. I think everybody should check it out. All your information is in the description below if you want to check her out. So check that out later after the show because we want you to watch right now.
Cool.
So anyway, you want to give us a little background update on yourself and where you've been and what I know on the last show we did this a little bit, but how are things going in your world and any updates?
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Diane Martino, and I want to wish you all a happy new year, right? This is our first Saturday of the new year, so lucky number 7. So what I do is I'm a creative, I work with creative healing. I'm a yoga therapist, which is helping people to release pain in their body, whether it's from emotional causes, physical. I'm an artist and I incorporate color frequency in my art. And I believe that from the yoga and all I've learned about the chakras and the energies, I fully believe that the frequencies of the chakras affect our body on the, mind, body, spirit level. And I'm really fascinated by it. I'm just going to pop up real quick a picture of how I feel about my pain. Whoops, sorry. Choose virtual background. So this is this is one of my paintings for the heart chakra. So it's about the greens. There's light language in it. There's yellow, which works with our solar plexus. So I'm very much about the color. So yeah, that's how I work. I thought it might be easier to have an example.
Oh, everybody likes examples, I tell you.
Yeah, you need an example.
That eye contact stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And that's the thing. It gets you going.
Yeah, like some people are visual learners. I'm a visual learner. I'm not auditory.
Yes.
Goes in one ear and
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like, visual examples are huge, especially on YouTube here. If we were just doing a regular podcast or something, you have to get more description. But yeah, I love that stuff. Now, do you do all those paintings yourself or?
Yeah, they just kind of come into me and as I'm doing a painting, it might be a painting for somebody's soul portrait. Like if you called me and said, I want to see what's going on and, can you do a soul portrait? So I'll tune in and I'll do something for you. And I might get a lot of, say, blues that has to do with your throat chakra. Maybe, and then we talk about the painting and see, maybe you're having trouble talking to people or you have something you haven't spoken up about. So just going through the colors, seeing what it relates to in the body as far as a chakra. And then with the yoga therapy that I do, give somebody a practice to do. So I might have them hum a mantra to activate a chakra. So it's all individualized for people. And my paintings can also be used as meditation jump offs, so to gaze at the painting I just showed, the green, if say somebody lost a loved one and their heart chakra is, people are in pain when they lose a loved one. So I would say maybe gaze at the green and feel the heart energy. And it's good to cry. And, like that's fine. Like a lot of people are taught not to cry. So using these modalities and these ancient techniques, I mean, they're not new. They're thousands of years old, the yoga practices. And they actually work on the subtle levels of our body. And it's really cool because we can actually heal ourselves, and that's what I'd like to help. I mean, if you need to go to a doctor, go to a doctor. I'm not here to give you medical advice, but I'm just saying that from personal experience, I know using the mind, we can heal our bodies, and I think we jump to the pill and the doctor too fast sometimes. And we're such powerful beings. I'm sure you've had so many people on your show who, share with you, like, we've got this amazing power, and we just need to be guided to learn how to use it. So, I'm a spiritual mentor for people, practices to do, and, and I still practice because it's a crazy world out there, Robert.
Oh yeah, it is. Here's the thing that I find so much with that healing yourself. And this is where you come in, or somebody else, or it doesn't matter, but it's all these things that you're doing, or staring at the picture, like you said. It's people have we're super people inside. We have all the power to heal ourselves, but we have to do the work. And then a lot of times we doubt ourselves, and we need to be encouraged. We need to have a crutch almost, or something,
a community to support us,
to support you, to encourage you to be that Superman or Superwoman, to heal yourself, like somebody guiding you or talking you through it, not necessarily because you need to, but because a lot of us start out that way, and then we start doubting ourselves, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing good. And then they talk themselves into being sick again, or not healthy, or tired. I'm tired. And I just, how many times have a person said, we'll just use that example. How many times have you said, oh, I worked all day, I'm tired? And then by saying it over and over and over, you get more tired.
That's it. That's why they call it spelling, because you're putting a spell on yourself.
Yes.
By spelling out tired. And what you're saying, I love what you're saying, because I think words are so important. Like, one of the biggest examples is an anti-war protest. Now, that still uses the word war. So you use instead, so you're still using the word war, and that's all the mind hears is war. But if you go to a peace protest, or a peace demonstration, like even the word protest. So you're protesting peace. So you have to be really careful. And it's designed this way by people that don't have our best interest at heart, say that we're casting spells on ourselves by doing and not watching our words. So you're like so spot on. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yes. We got a lot of great people in our chat, in our soul tribe here, that are all about that stuff, and they've figured a lot of this stuff out. I've had people like Grandpa Brian, who's in the chat tonight, and he says he's agreeing with, he says, most definitely. What did he say up here earlier? He said something about the body and healing everything. He says something, the mind can heal the body or whatever, but he does a lot of Reiki. He's a Reiki master.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's really great at that. And he's now, the last I talked to him on New Year's, he's gonna start a school. You'll love this. He's gonna start a school for young children to teach them these skills and stuff when they really need it, not when we're old and gray, but when they're young. And that way they can bloom. Can you imagine all the stuff that you know right now? If
Yeah.
you knew it when you were like 10.
I knew it when I was 30. I didn't start doing it till I was in my 40s.
But
You know,
exactly. I mean,
like
think where you would be if you got taught that when you were 10 years old.
or meditating, teaching kids to
Yeah.
meditate. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
Reiki. I'm not a master, but I do Reiki, and
Hmm.
healing hands, and I think we're all do. So hi, I forget your name, Grandpa that does
Grandpa Brian. We got Lucky Stone in here. And if you go to his channel, he does the little shorts or shows where he speaks mantras like, I have favor to this and favor to that, and I feel prosperous, and I am more than I am, and and he goes on and on about that, and it's really great to hear this stuff. And I'll just sit in the kitchen and turn him on, and he'll be repeating, and I'll be mouthing the words with him, because he'll say it over and over and over again. And he puts together these words really well,
yeah.
and it's something like I had tacked on my refrigerator for the longest time, my favor spell. And every morning before I would leave the house, I would say, I give favor to my storehouses. I give favor to my animals. I give favor to my vehicle. I will come up on top and not below. I will, I will be, more than I am. I will have favor in the spiritual world, and spiritual world have favor with me, and I will go out today to work in favor, and favor will be with me all day. And I would say these things before I would go to work,
Right.
and I would have a great day,
Yeah.
but it would go in my head all day long like that. But that's getting yourself in that rhythm, and every day I would say to myself, like I'll be taking a shower. Don't imagine me taking a shower, people. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, the shower is a great place. You get the water running over you, feel really calm, and that's a great place to, just relax. And I'll be like, shut
Not
my
too
eyes.
relaxed.
Yeah,
Not
not too
too
relaxed.
relaxed.
Yeah, but I'm in there, and I'm like, say the frequency, source frequency, hey, help me understand the world I live in so I may navigate through it, every day. And that way, I'm going out with the best intentions, every day. And I need to know how to navigate the world. And I think you're spot on with that stuff, like imagining the colors of different things, the auras, your chakras, getting them aligned. So here's another thing I did, and I don't know if you've ever tried this, but every day I would come out, and I'd drive myself off, and I would stop for a minute, and I would just let my mind go, and I would think uh, of a place and a time when I was really happy,
Yeah, that's
when
nice.
I was young, like
Uh-huh.
when I was young and I was playing in the sandbox, or when I was young riding my bicycle up and down the road, or when I was a teenager playing my favorite music in the car, and I could just close my eyes and just remember that, good happy time. And um I really felt better. I felt like I was young again,
Yeah.
because I was remembering those young memories, not old crappy memories, but young happy memories of when I felt good and strong, and you know whatever, and it just made me better.
And there were limitless possibilities when we were young.
Yes.
We didn't have all this old programming and stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
And those visualizations are actually activating the cells within the body. So if your mind, I did this with I've taught I taught at a hospital for about 16 years. I taught to the general public. I taught stress management. I've taught at yoga studios, but I was always very interested in the yoga therapy aspect, because I believe that the body heals from all these things we're talking about. So I used to do this practice with my students in my in both classes,
Mhm,
because as you're talking about how powerful your mind is.
mhm.
So can we do the practice? We can all do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's
We
a
got
short one.
we got a lot of people in the chat. I want everybody to join us along with this. We got
Okay.
Grandpa Brian, Nina the Mystic, Mary Wins, Brenda, Milky's mom is here to join us. We have let's see here, Lucky Stone, Regina Hutchinson, Joanne Dancing Gypsy. Let's see who else was here. Light Language Dinah.
Oh, that's
Thank
my
you,
friend. Hi, Dina. That's Dina.
Dina, Light Language Dina. Okay. Yeah, thank you for coming. The Grumpy Stack. Grumpy Stack is one of these people who's an amazing guy. He transformed himself. He was like 300 and some pounds, and he put his mind to it and lost, I forget, like 150 pounds, like a whole person. I mean, amazing people we have in here.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Elderberry's in the house, and I think that's it that I can see in chat. But I'm sure there's more than that. And Witchy Moon, love you all, everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay, y'all ready to participate? Let's do it.
So like 2 minutes, and so just everybody close your eyes.
Okay.
And imagine that you're sitting in you're somewhere in your kitchen. You're sitting or standing at the counter.
Mhm.
And you've just taken a lemon out from the refrigerator, wherever, and your eyes are closed, and you just kind of feel the lemon in your hand. It might be a little cool because you just took it out of the fridge.
Yep.
And just while it's just bring it up to your nose and smell what the skin smells like. Yeah, it's fresh, it's clean, and just take it down and put it on the counter because you washed it already. We washed these lemons already. And you're going to imagine yourself taking a knife in one hand and putting the lemon on a cutting board. And very slowly start to cut the lemon in half. And just notice how the juice drips out and the smell gets stronger. And it's a little sticky while you're trying to cut it and the juice is running on the cutting board. So now you're going to take just like 1/2 of the lemon and you're going to pick it up in your hand and you're going to bring it out all the way up to your nose and smell how strong and pungent that half smells. And now your eyes are closed, but you're going to stick your tongue out and squeeze a couple of drops of juice on your tongue. And then bring it in your mouth, put the lemon down, and just notice what's going on with the lemon in your mouth. And then slowly open your eyes. So my question is to everybody, did you salivate? Did you feel the salivation in your mouth? I got no lemons.
Yes,
your mind is really powerful. I've done it, I've done it with apples, crispy apples, and and we just salivate because that's what you were saying, Robert. Our mind is so powerful. But like you were saying, when we have examples to show us. So ask everybody in the chat if anybody salivated, didn't salivate.
Yeah, I want to just give me a show of hands here who did it. Crumpy Stacks said yes, I did. Mary Wynn said yes, I did. But yeah, I did too. It was like my mouth started puckering, like I could feel it on the edge of my tongue there, and then it went down my throat a little bit, like I could feel a little, the taste of the lemon in my mouth. It's like amazing. Just
so it's an example. I mean, I've had people in classes like, no, I didn't get any, like they're, but whatever.
Yep. Joanne says she did. Nina says, yep, she did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's how you can prove it to people, what you said about you repeating those beautiful things. because two thoughts can't occupy the same space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're having a thought of goodness and beauty, oh shit, can't get, you know, you can't think, oh, so if you're having negative thoughts, my suggestion to people I work with, you know, myself, I have bad days. Trust me, I do have bad days. And it's like, okay, stop this and just like go paint or go do something, because it's like that negative energy tries to suck you in, and we don't want to feed the loosh. So we just think positive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Pa Joe's in the house. He says power of suggestion. But see, this is the thing where I was saying about having a helper, doubting yourself, because like, so you are our guide, you are our person guiding us through this, so we didn't have any doubts. You see what I mean? Whereas if I did it by myself, I might say, no, I did I or didn't I? And then once you start questioning yourself, it's all out the window.
Yeah, I think it's easier too when somebody's talking you through it. Like, as I've done this for like a couple of decades, and I have different techniques that I use, but I'm really a good visual person. Like we were saying before, like I'm visual. I'm not auditory. If you gave me directions somewhere and you just spoke them, I'd be lost. I need to have things written down. So some people that I do this practice with may not be visual, and the auditory hopefully gets them involved, but we all learn differently, as you said before. So yeah.
But we need a guide. A lot of times we need a guide because we get lost in that forest. We start telling ourselves we're tasting the lemon, and I got my eyes closed, I'm tasting the lemon, and then it's like, am I tasting a lemon? Does it really taste like lemon? And then I question myself, and then the next thing you know, this experiment's gone.
Your mind is wandered. You need to meditate. You need to meditate. That's where meditation comes in.
That's where that mantra comes in, where you say it over and over and over and over, or you have a guide, like and you join a group, or
you have a coach, like I'm a mentor or a coach or a counselor, or because I have somebody that helps me when I'm in need. We all need somebody. Just because I do this, I mean, I have mentors, and we all have them depending on what stage we are in our learning and our acceptance of, you and I are talking about pretty far out things for a lot of people, but not in the certain groups in, like, you understand.
Well, and then like this group understands. But there's a lot of people out there, if you told them that, I remember many years ago watching a magician on TV, and I was young, I was a kid, and you've probably seen the guy too. This was kind of a famous guy. He was on like primetime CBS or something, back in the day. And he had everybody sitting at a table, and he put a bowl down, and he gave them a spoon, and he told them, he was hypnotizing them, like, and he told them, this is soup, it's pea soup, or it's tomato soup, or something like that. And they're just eating this soup up. Like, they're blindfolded, but they're like eating the soup, and they're like, oh, this is really good.
What was it?
There was no soup at all.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like,
there was nothing in the bowls. He just told them, he had hypnotized them. And then, they were all wearing blindfolds, and he gave them a spoon, and he gave them a bowl, and he explained this, and he says, there's soup in the bowl. It's tomato soup, or it's pea soup, or whatever soup it was.
But it was empty. I gotcha.
Yeah. And he's saying, it's hot, and it smells like this, and it's just like you were saying, it's hot now. Be careful. It's going to burn your lips, if you put it in your mouth too fast.
Oh, wow.
And he had such a good description of it. And and the next thing you know, they're eating the soup, and they're like, the guy's scraping the bowl, like, so I don't know, was it all fake or was it real? But I tend to believe that it might have been kind of realish, because we can do the thing with the lemon. We close our eyes, it's the blindfold, and then you describe it, and the next thing you know, I'm tasting lemon in my mouth. My mouth is getting puckery.
But just think about this. We have to use something everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
Now, if I said something like a kumquat.
Yeah, I don't know what that's.
Right. So it would have no context in which for you to, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you have to be, I remember doing a meditation with a group years ago, and I used to take them to their favorite place. Like you said, think of when you were happy. So I did this meditation, and they packed up for their trip. It was like a 20-minute thing I would do with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to take them in the very, very, very beginning. I took them to the ocean.
Ooh.
And I stopped doing that because I had a lady in my group who was afraid of the water. So what I learned from that was that they have to take them where they want to go, wherever their happiest place was, because I was just learning. This was back in the early days, and I was like, well, I could never do that again. I mean, I love the beach.
Yeah,
I would never think somebody's afraid of the beach, but so
but
different things to learn.
Well, you're taking them where you wanted to go, not where they were happiest.
I always
where
want
you
to
were
go to the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Where some people want to go to the forest, or some people love the city. I don't know why, but they do. But you're trying to think. I'm sure you're trying to think of a peaceful place, and that was peaceful
not
for
the
you.
Same for everybody. I didn't, and like I said, I was just starting out back then, and then I realized wherever it is for them. I had one lady say to me one day, we were done, and I said, how was it? Because I taught stress management for a hospital, so I had to be very generic about things. And she said, it was really good, except like the packing part got me so nervous because I hate to pack. I said, you don't have to pack, so this is how people think. Sometimes they don't think, well, I could just kind of pack and move on. Like, we're so programmed to sometimes we don't think for ourselves.
Yeah. Packing is a stressful part of going on a vacation. I mean, I know I love going places, but the packing and getting ready is very stressful to me. I would agree with that.
So we have to, and I think you and I talking about this, I just got a download. It's like, we have to also, we're talking about what we find stressful and stuff. We have to think about other things that people find stressful that we might say to them, oh, that's fine. Well, no, it's not, because that's their experience. It is stressful. So we have to be a little kinder and gentler these days, a little more love and, lifting people up, I think.
Yeah, people get, it's amazing what little things can trigger people nowadays. 50, 60 years ago, I tell you, nothing triggered people like it does now. I mean, you say the wrong word, the wrong pronoun, and people fly off the hook. It's like, what? What? I don't get it, but to them, it's everything. It means the world.
Yeah.
How is that? I don't understand. To me, it doesn't mean anything, but to them, it's like you might as well be killing them or something,
I think we need to get more in touch with ourselves. Like when I work with people with the painting, and my goal is to make people feel themselves. Like, what do you feel? Because people are so desensitized. Like I said, I've been teaching for over 2 decades, and I'll say to people, like, what do you feel? And they say, I don't know. So it's your body. I want you to relax and get to a point with whatever practice I'm sharing with you, so you can that feels good, or that feels scary, or that so what you're feeling. Because I think, like you said, with people lashing out, I don't think they know what they feel, so it's easier to be aggressive than it is to take a minute to say, I don't know, so.
Well, I think they don't, because we talked about this on this channel a lot, and I question it myself, and it always comes back to the same thing. The world around us has engulfed us with so much fluff that we pay attention to the world around us instead of paying attention to us. And so it's like people who shop all the time. They go shopping like an addiction, or they fill their house full of knickknacks and treasures, but they really don't pay attention to themselves. It's kind of like those people who are, and this is a really good example, those people who are have emphysema, and you've seen them carrying around an oxygen bottle, and then they take their mask off and have a cigarette.
Oh, I know people who did that. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And it's like, what? And they're so concerned about that smoking that they have to have it, that addiction. They can't turn it off. And yet that's the same addiction that's killing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet they cover it up.
Yeah, I think any addiction, whether it's food or, I used to weigh 85 pounds more than I do now, and it all came from a mental state. So every day is still, I watch, and it's like, okay, because you hear a negative thought and you feel like not enough. And I think that's where any addiction comes from, a negative thought that was programmed as a child, that was programmed from a past life, that was whatever it is. It's just that's what we call the shadow work. You've heard of the shadow work. Yeah. Do the shadow work.
Well, and it could be programmed from things like nowadays, especially the TV. You know how many hours kids spend at a TV, and how much programming there is on there, and TV shows and things like that. And I always encourage people to turn off the boob tube and read a book, listen to some music. If you want to watch something, great, but pick and choose, watch a DVD or something, but don't sit in front of that TV with all the commercials, because there's so much stuff they're stuffing in there. Time you get done, you're a zombie.
Right. Well, the frequencies, back to the frequencies, they're actually putting a frequency. They say they're putting like this actual frequency goes in that shuts you down. So, like if have you ever talked to somebody? When my husband was alive, he would be in front of the TV. He's gone 20 years, but he'd be in front of the TV and he's like not there. And they're so tuned in, and it's a certain frequency that they're actually programming into the television. I'm reading a book about it now. They've changed the frequencies, and even the and they do what you're saying, and they're programmed specifically to control the masses. That's why they call it programming.
Yeah.
And the one thing I want to say, which is really interesting, which I'm reading, the musical note frequency is 432 is an angelic frequency. Back in like around the Nazi Hitler thing, they made standardized the letter, I think the A sound, the chord A, the note A, I'm not musical, was programmed. Instead of 432, they made it 440, which is a disharmony resonance. I might be explaining this for you people who are like really big into frequencies, but it's a disharmony resonance. So that when all the musical instruments are tuned, now they're tuned to 440. 440 causes disruption in the body, where 432 is the sound of water, it's the sound of rain, it's the natural harmonic of nature. Yeah. This is how I am to understand it. I'm not, I'd rather paint, but the harmonics, so they standardize 440 across the whole world on purpose to disharmonize our bodies and cause disease. How crazy is that?
Well, who would have thought of that? I mean, and why? What's the purpose of that? See, that's why I think there's like this external, there's this, evil, I just put evil on it, but, somebody controlling everything saying, hey, we have this technology, but we need to tweak it a little bit. And this is what you're going to go out and do. Even though 90% of the people know that 432 is a good frequency. But then they change it to 440, like you say, this is a chaos frequency. Why would they do that? Why would you do that?
Because when people are out of harmony, they can control them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing. It's a wild book. This guy, it's about it's called The Confessions of an Illuminati.
yeah, no, I totally agree with you on all that.
It's very interesting about the music industry. So, but that's why we're here to talk about like how to have good frequencies, how to have positive thoughts when you're feeling like from that music in the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. You don't think about it. I mean, tune in the radio. Think about all those kids out there nowadays that are listening to that horrible rap music crap stuff. And they got these headphones on, and they're just jamming away. And then I as soon as I hear that, it just makes me cringe. It's like, you might as well be scraping their fingernails on a chalkboard. It's terrible. It's terrible. It really is. And there's enough.
You feel it in your body. Like, that's why I keep talking about, I want people to feel, but I want you to feel your natural frequency, which you can do when you're moving and breathing and bringing your awareness into your body. That stuff is just like, because we're water. So we're vibrating like this with all that.
Yeah. And we've talked about on this channel about programming your water, and everybody thinks programming your water, and it's as simple as saying good things to your water before you drink it.
Praying over your food.
Yes, and I've noticed that too. I've caught myself doing things, and I go out. I was in the garden this summer, and I was picking my potatoes, and I went out there in a bad mood, and I'm picking the potatoes, and I'm angry about something, and I stopped, and I went, oh my gosh, I'm picking my potatoes in an angry mood, and I had to stop, take a deep breath. I love my potatoes, and calm myself down, because I didn't want to program all my potatoes with this anger that I was feeling over something that was going on in my life, and think, I'm going to program all these potatoes, and then when I eat them all winter long, it's going to be bad juju.
It's true. It's so true. I have a really quick story from one of my yoga teachers, and he always I've known him since 2000. So he always told the story. I heard it years ago, and it always stuck with me. So he used to pick up this one lady who needed a ride to the yoga center to go teach. So he would pick her up, and because she didn't have a car. And so one day she made him cookies because he liked chocolate chip cookies. So they went, and he took them home that night, and he ate one on the way home, and he got home and he was kind of angry with his wife. And that's not like him. If you know him, that's not him. So next week he goes and picks her up, and she said, oh, how were the cookies? And he said, oh, they were very good. She goes, oh, good. She goes, I was a little worried because I was fighting with my husband when I made them. And here he ate them. He went home and had a little argument with his wife. So, that story always stuck with me.
Well, and that is so true. And we've talked about stuff like that too here, and that boils down to magic stuff. And that's why I'm kind of big on the magic, because everything we bring into our house, from the logos, from stores, the symbols and things like that, the colors on the bags, you notice these corporations, they hire people. They don't call them witches. They, call them the propaganda department, or maybe the advertising department or something. But they're out there trying to figure out the best colors, symbols, and things to infect your mind and program you to come back or to hate other people's products and only like theirs. And then you buy something at a garage sale or something used, and you bring it into your house.
That's a big one. Talk about that.
Yeah, you bring it in used. And what if it's infected from that other person? What do you do when you get something that's used?
What do I do? Okay.
Yes.
I don't buy used anymore, but I have to tell you, I'm on this group. And a couple of months ago, a lot of people seem to be awakening, coming to, and there's things that I just know because I've been doing this a long time, and it's how I live my life. Like, I have sage. I don't wear shoes in my house. I don't want to track energy from I have all this stuff. That's why I can be your spiritual mentor and keep you clear. But woman posted on this group how she bought something for her friend, bought something for a daughter at a garage sale, and the kid was having bad dreams. And then she realized she didn't know that when you buy things, that energy attaches to them. And a lot of people do not know that. Some people will think you're crazy. I have friends that would think I was crazy, but they know I'm crazy, so it's okay. But those are things like tonight. I have Palo Santo. So Palo Santo clears the energy. Just your words clear the energy.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, you get something used and you want to, give it the smoke treatment. Smoke carries away the spirits. Speak over it with favor.
Yeah.
You want to, maybe leave it outside if you can for a while to let it air out. Fresh air, say good things. Yeah, things like just like that. I do that. I got a piece of sandalwood, and I'll light that, and I'll go around the house, and I'll clear the spirits, and all for smudge my house. We're in North Dakota, we got sage out here, so I have my own sage, and I'll do that around the house too, especially around the doorways, things like that. But
selenite. Do you use selenite?
No.
Selenite clears everything. Or are you?
Yes. Why don't you show us some of the stuff you got? You were showing me before the show too. Yeah, what's this
is
stuff?
Selenite, and selenite is it's a stone that clears all the other stones. Don't get it wet because it'll melt. It's water soluble. But I keep these in my windows around my apartment. So, and then I keep a black tourmaline or obsidian stone with them because that absorbs or gets rid of negativity. So I have certain stones I keep around, and a lot of selenite. And this is a Lumerian seed crystal. So this is one of my favorite pieces. They're all my favorite. Oh, heck. So,
Beautiful.
You get attached to them.
You were talking about, what do you keep on your computer? And
I keep shungite. So shungite helps to get rid of the negative energy. And I used to make shungite water. And the shungite would just absorb and get rid of the negative energies. Like this is elite. Where am I? Oh, this is elite shungite. And and what that does is it cuts down the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies. So, I know friends that have the little stickers, and you were talking about, you have something too, right?
We were talking about Max Vision having different things. He gets really affected by it, so he wears the silver lined shirts, and things like that, and a hat on the inside of his hat and things like that. We had him on, and he was really gets affected by it, and he was saying, hey, I got to do stuff. He made a little battery pack that he wears in his sock to ground himself and things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never realized it was so much. I wonder how much I'm getting affected by it. I'm sure now everybody's asking about your necklace. Please explain about the necklace.
This necklace. I have two of these. They're made by Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels. She has a system called Energy Enhancement System. And this helps to, they're light frequencies that are, I'm explaining this really bad. They're light frequencies in a stack of there's 24, 4 stacks of 6. Yeah, 24. And what they do is they actually heal the bodies. I feel like they're the med beds that are out. But you go and you lay in a chair for like 2 hours, and the frequencies enhance your energy system, and they enhance whatever they come in contact with. So I wear this to help keep my energy up. I have, this is adventurine. They come in all different stone types. So I got the adventurine, and I have a white jade also. And this is moonstone.
Ooh, that's pretty.
And I've had this for a really long time. So everybody thinks it's an opal because it's so shiny, but it's just like that piece I always wear. Like you've probably seen me with this for 20 years. I've been wearing it. So yeah, I'm big on wearing the energy because I believe that they help the frequencies in our body. And this is like a selenite angel.
Oh,
Because angels are good.
yeah.
And I feel like keeping these positive things around us. I mean, they've been on the planet for years, you know, and you should find what resonates with you. You know, every day something different might resonate with you.
Yeah.
So I love my crystals, you know, so I have lots of them, and I'll move them around, but I like the heart-shaped crystals because
that is really pretty too.
Yeah. So there, and then I have skulls. There's a rose quartz skull, and they say the skulls have messages to give us, or they store messages that, you know, if you talk to them, sometimes you hear them talk back. So this is adventurine, or yeah, I think it's one of my first skulls. So yeah, I just find that, you know, if you're ill, say you're having an illness, you know, or you're having a bad day, you know, you can't have a bad day and hold a heart, I don't think, you know. So, because they do vibrate the energy. I've been studying these and herbs. I do a lot with herbs. So I do a lot of, but this is my normal, like what I do. Like I don't go to doctors, I do herbs.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have to go to a doctor, I'm sure I would eventually go.
Well, yeah. But I mean, but that's the whole point of everything is trying to keep yourself in balance and in frequency, because what is disease? Dis-ease. You're not at ease with your frequency, right? Is that correct?
That's, yeah.
You know, and when you're not at in your frequency, disease comes in. And then you're all about keeping at your frequency. And how do you hold that frequency? And, you know, by looking at those, work, keeping your chakras in line. You know, some people do it longer than others, and they live longer. They don't get diseases. They don't get sick as much. And so it is possible. It's just that we let so much of the environment around us take control of ourselves that we forget about, you know, our own body. Like you were
Who we
saying.
really are. We're magnificent beings.
Yeah, like you said, you ask people, how do you feel? They don't even know. I don't know how I feel. What? How do you not even know? You're so preoccupied with the world around you that you don't even know how your own body and how your own mind works, that you don't even know how you feel. You've never taken enough time to ask yourself this. What, you know, are you even human at that point?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm asking them while they're in the middle of a yoga class and they don't know.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're, you know, sitting in a, you know, on a bus stop and like, oh, how do you, it's like they're there. I've got them in a place where they can get in touch with themselves and they still don't know.
Yeah,
And
because, but see,
you come at it from a different place. And sometimes I think people know, I know they know, but they don't want to say it because they're embarrassed or something. And it's like, no, we should all feel safe.
yeah, well, here's another question for you. So do you believe that those people are going to yoga thinking in their head it's something, if I just go to yoga and I learn how to move this way and that way and do this or breathe in and breathe out, that'll fix all my problems? You know, they're not thinking about actually fixing their body. They're just saying, if I do the motions, it's kind of like people who you know, I'll bring it up, go to church. They go to church. Well, I'm all good. I'm good for the week. You know, God loves me because I put $10 in the donation box.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I don't know what they think.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that most people think it's easier than it looks. And it's very challenging to move slowly and breathe and be really present. Like I did a practice, I have some privates that I do, and simple practice that I've learned to move and breathe. Okay, wait. Okay, to move, to breathe. So you start your breath, start your inhale, and then you're still inhaling, and then you start the movement. Then you finish your movement, and then you finish your inhale. So say I was, so real quick example. So say I'm inhaling, I start my inhale, I start my movement. I'm inhaling, I finish the movement, I finish the inhale. I start my exhale, I start the movement, I finish the movement, then I finish the exhale. So you're thinking that each movement with every breath you take, people like want to jump out of their skins. It's very, very, very challenging.
It is. Trust me.
We did that, the breath the other night, that one night we did.
Yes. And believe it or not, I've used that to some extent when I was working this last week. That was very stressful. I worked a lot of hours and did a lot of stuff. But when I was doing all of that, I got stressed out a lot. And I realized I was getting really tired, and I was taking short breaths. I realized I was breathing short, and so I stopped, and I did the thing. I closed my eyes, and at first I kind of felt a little foolish, but then after a while, after I did it, I just and I took that deep breath in and. I kept imagining, like you kept saying, imagine it going in and imagine it going out, and using your stomach, and stuff like that. And I felt really good. And then I could keep going. But other than that, I was getting really tired and weak. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? And I realized I just wasn't breathing.
Right. So lack of oxygen, what happens to people who have lack of oxygen to the brain, right?
Yeah, but when you're stressed out, I'm concentrating on everything else, and I'm lacking on the breathing part. And who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who thinks of that stuff? But I guess I was.
But you learned it and you use it. I used to tell my students all the time, you always have it with you. You don't have to remember to pack it. It's always there. So use it. It's an amazing thing, the focused breath. It really is.
Yeah. I felt I'll tell you, everybody, I felt really refreshed after I did that. And I really needed it. It picked me up more than drinking caffeine or anything. That's for sure. I try not to drink caffeine, but taking those deep breaths and in closing my eyes and just doing that, and it was very refreshing. It was amazing.
What also happens, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system that relaxes you. So if you inhale, this, if for those of you who didn't see, we had done inhale to a count of, say, 5, exhale to a count of 10, in and out through the nose. And what happens is it massages your vagus nerve, which is the nerve that goes like, all the way through the body up to the brain and all, so I don't like to get too technical, but I think the practices are more important. If you want to read about the science of it, it's been out there for years. And like you said earlier, I thought it was really cool, Robert, like they should teach kids to do this because they're all stressed out in school. I mean, how many kids now have they're on all this medication because they're stressed out. They're freaking 10 years old. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I remember there was no kids on drugs. There was no kids taking medications. I mean, you'd be some kind of wacko kid unless you were, sick or something, taking medications. But nowadays, I guess it's the thing. It's like there's very few kids not taking medications. What?
I think because people don't want to do the practices, they take time. But if we ingrained it in children when they're younger, they would be so much more, they would have tools to balance them. I used to teach yoga to children with autism for about 9 years. And they loved it, the teachers would be like, you're so good with them. And it's like, I think is the autism, they're nonverbal. So we were more on a heart to heart, and the movements that I did would work on the different energy centers. So even though we're doing this and that, I'm still working on the heart chakra with them. So my intention works through, like the kids, one of my students was my neighbor, and now she's graduated high school. She's autistic, but her mother was just telling me, I don't live there anymore, but she goes to yoga once a week still.
Oh, wow.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So she carried it on. Apparently it was working for her. Like I said, maybe she'll remember that. Well, apparently she does, if she continues on with that. But that's what I'm saying, I remembered that, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this.
Happy. So cool.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good. Because it was cold. Trust me, it's cold here. And I was tired and feeling weak, and I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the oxygen just, and the reason also you said it was cold. So when I teach the breathing, I always say in through the nose and out through the nose. Now, if people can't exhale through the nose, they can slowly. But the reason you inhale through the nose is because, so you're in the cold and you're inhaling cold air into a 98 whatever body. So you're going to shock the system, and your organs are going to be like, we're taking off. It's too cold. So you breathe in through the nose so that you warm the breath before it goes into the lungs. So your body doesn't go into kind of like a shock, or because if you're going, you're breathing cold air right into your lungs, and that's going to
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, and drink plenty of water. Did you know, I was just finding this out this week. It was kind of funny because in other countries, that most people in other countries drink a lot of water, and in the United States, I forget what the percentage of people are just dehydrated because they don't drink water, and they drink everything but water. And soda doesn't count, and tea doesn't count, coffee doesn't count. Once it's mixed with something, it just really doesn't count. But everybody's drinking. It's just that they're not drinking water.
Right.
And so people are dehydrated. They think they're good, but most of the disease out there is caused by being dehydrated. I was like, oh my gosh, we're killing ourselves. We don't even know it.
And the water is so, I drink distilled water. I've been drinking distilled water since 2000. I have my own
Okay.
water distiller in my house. And it's such a difference between like the bottled water. I personally don't trust bottled water, but like, what are you going to do? Like,
Yeah.
but I like now having a water distiller. But I drink a lot of tea, but I drink green herbal tea, like organic green herbal tea, and to the point where it's watery. But I don't drink, because like you said, the caffeine dehydrates you, and the sugars and all the chemicals in the sodas. I don't know who still drinks soda.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people do. Like when I walk down the soda aisle at the supermarket, I cringe.
Yeah, I agree. And it, just because it says sugar free doesn't mean it's good for you.
It's worse.
It's worse. Yeah.
Because it has there's a sweetener in it that causes Alzheimer's. What's it called? Aspartame? Aspartame?
Aspartame. Yeah, there's I think it's aspartame.
I think that's the one that they say. I think that causes there's so many things. Like the closer you are to nature, the more organic. I sprout my own sprouts.
Yep.
So I have a jar, nothing fancy, a jar of sprouts. So whatever you pay like $8 for at the supermarket, you can grow in 5 days with a tablespoon of sprouts.
Yeah, it's amazing. We got people in here talking about everything comes back to you in life. Coconut oil. Do you have anything to say about coconut oil?
I used to use it on my face and on my hair a little bit. I don't have a gallbladder, so I don't eat a lot of fats. So but I think it's great. I would use it for whatever. I keep it in the house, but I only use olive oil for a little cooking, and I'm not a big oil person. Like I said, I have no gallbladder, so.
Yep. Grumpy Stack, he's the one that lost all that weight. I got to get Grumpy Stack on here because he is the guy who lost a bunch of weight. He says 97.6, he's right down to the wire. 97.6% of what I drink is water. Good for you. Yes. Lucky Stone says sugar-free is far worse than sugar. Reduced sugar should have less sugar and not artificial sweetener. Mary Wynn says phosphorus in the soda eats away at our bones too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway, aspartame. Allergic to aspirin. Regine Hutchinson says, don't drink anything with aspartame. Yes, there you go. So, anyway, yeah, so there you go. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Our audience is really smart about that stuff. But, well, believe it or not, an hour has went by. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
A live show, an hour went by just like that. I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate you for coming on.
Thanks.
This was so interesting, talking about all of these different things. We got to keep up to date on this, and I'd like to have you back on again sometime because this is so fast. It's amazing how we got so much to talk about.
I know.
I love your paintings. Maybe next time you come on, you could have them arranged. We could have like a slideshow of them. I'd love to see all your different ones, and then you could explain them. I'm sure everybody would be interested in that.
Would you like to do a closing meditation tonight?
Yeah. Just before
we have time.
Yeah, we can do that. I just want to say, Nina the Mystic says, join. So tomorrow night, everyone, we are going to be over on Nina's channel, where we're going to be doing the spiritual science book from Agnost. We're going to dive in deep on our
I love Agnost. He's so nice.
Yeah, we're going to read his book on join us over there. We're going to read his book. She had him on twice so far and interviewed him, and hopefully I can get him on my channel one of these days.
And Nori, was he with Nori Love?
No, he was all by himself.
Okay.
But we're going to read his book and discuss it again and go through the whole thing. And I do have a PDF. Dina's got the PDF in her Discord channel, and it's at tomorrow. It says it should be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which should be about 8 o'clock Central Time or 9 o'clock Eastern Time, I guess.
And what channel is that on? I'm writing
It,
things
it,
down.
it is Nina the Mystic. I can send you a link to
I
that.
got it.
Okay, Nina
I'll
the
find
Mystic.
it somewhere on your channel. Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So we're gonna start that, join into that sometime. But anyway, okay, and I want to thank everybody else for coming and joining us tonight.
And
Mossy
thank
Man,
you.
Mary Wins, Jean Hutchinson, Joanne, Grumpy Stack, Mandy Moo. Yes, Mandy Moo, all the way from Australia. Thank you. Mandy Moo runs her own crystal shop, believe it or not. She in Australia. She goes out and digs those crystals. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so let's do this meditation to end the show here.
A little breathing so everybody can relax and hear what you and I have been talking about, the breathing practice that you were happy with. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, Robert, for having me tonight. And I appreciate it, and I hope to see you all soon and catch some of the people that are watching me. I want to watch them. Okay.
Mhm.
So everybody close your eyes and just sit up comfortable and quietly. And just have the mouth closed if you can, and just inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose slowly. Just watch your breath. Let your belly expand on your inhale. Let your shoulders relax on your exhale. Feel your jaw get very, very soft. And add a gentle count to your inhale. So you might want to count Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, whatever it is for you. Nice slow inhale. And then slowly exhaling twice that. So if you inhale to a 4, exhale to an 8, but make sure you're comfortable. Never strain. So it's a 1-to-2 ratio, which actually relaxes your parasympathetic nervous system. So inhaling slowly through the nose and exhaling slowly through the nose. But if that's too challenging, just exhale slowly through your mouth, through pursed lips. Feel the tummy contract. Tuck it back at the end of your exhales. Just ride on the effortlessness of your breath. Every exhale is the body's natural release mechanism, and feel your jaw relax. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your body relax. And now slowly just begin to deepen your breathing. Take a nice full deep inhales. And slowly release this practice. Let your breath return to normal. And just notice how you feel. Open your eyes, big smile. And thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being on here tonight.
I feel refreshed. I do. I feel good. I feel good. I really do. That was really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Remember, go over to Max Vision. He's on right now, I'm sure. And check him out. Now that you got the breathing down and you're all relaxed, go over there, do a little bit of remote viewing, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thank you all for coming. Check me out with Nina tomorrow. And remember, go out, do something nice for somebody. Enjoy your life. And remember to be the frequency you want to receive. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Bye.
And there we